McMain.
And good Thursday afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got a show piled high with content. You're going to learn a lot if you stick with us for the next 2 hours. Randall Trammell, he's running for state school superintendent, will be on in just a little bit. Rick Britton, the pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church, and our very own Jeff Hood will be joining us in that interview. 1:15, I've got Steve from P&A Jewelry. If you have dropped the ball and forgot that it is Valentine's Day, we got you covered.
Yes. Because
Steve will be here sharing all the goodies that they have that you can get at the last minute to be sure that your Valentine's Day is perfect for your loved one. And then 1:30, I've got two young people coming on. I think we've got both of them coming. One may be sick. I've got a young lady, Macy Rutledge, Nick Camerzell. They've got a 5K that they're doing for Lake and Riley, but they're also with a young conservative group out at UGA. So it's going to be kind of fun to listen to them, see what they've got planned. But we're going to learn about this 5K that will be benefiting the Lake and Riley Foundation. So we're going to learn about that as well. So Chastity, we've talked off and on in the show about tennis, which I do enjoy a good tennis match. Played the other night, actually played well. Not because I'm losing weight. I'm flatlining at 182. I'm still about a good 15 pounds overweight. But I'm getting a little bit of game back. You know, start slowly coming back. Last year was a rough year for tennis for me. But every now and then, my buddy and I, we go out and we play a little pickleball.
Yeah.
Because if you're good at tennis, you're naturally good at pickleball,
okay.
Right? It just kind of flows.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you're great at pickleball.
Tennis is tough.
Tennis is tough.
It is tough.
The learning curve to be good at tennis takes some time. The learning curve for pickleball takes about 12 minutes.
Oh.
So if you've never played pickleball, and I tell people, if you're a good athlete, in about 10 minutes, you're good at it. You know,
okay.
it's just a cool thing about it. You get a couple buddies together, have never played the game in your entire life. Everybody gets a paddle. You find a pickleball court. And if you're relatively athletic, you're going to have a really good time.
Okay.
You take that same four guys, have never played tennis, give them a racket and put them on a tennis court, it's going to be a train wreck.
Oh.
It's going to be a disaster. Nobody's going to have fun.
That would be me.
Well, and so that's what makes pickleball kind of cool, is it's a fun social game. You have a good time. There's a lot of laughing going on, and you're getting a good workout along the way. Unless you're down at the Spruce Creek Country Club in Port Orange, Florida, where a brawl involving more than 20 people broke out on a pickleball court. So you had a couple, Anthony Sapienza and his wife, Julianne Sapienza, and another couple were playing a match together. And tensions escalated when Anthony allegedly accused his opponent of illegally entering the kitchen. Now, if you've never played pickleball, there's this little box in front of the net. They call it the kitchen, and it's kind of like no man's land. You're not supposed to go in the kitchen, with the exception of a few rules, which I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to go into the rules of pickleball. But somebody entered the kitchen, created a little bit of a fracas. After the match, insults were traded.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of the guys insulted the other guy's wife. And then it got nasty.
Oh.
So one of the dudes punched the other guy in the face, striking him with a pickleball paddle, causing significant bleeding. Now, a pickleball paddle, under normal circumstances, would not be considered a weapon, but they are made of hard plastic.
Sure.
Right? And so if you've got a little bit of wallop in your punch and you belt somebody in the chops with one of these pickleball paddles,
and you're not expecting it.
And you're not expecting it. You're just out there looking for a little exercise, burning some calories, having fun with your buddies. And next time, you're eating a pickleball paddle.
Oh.
Yeah. The injured opponent was taken to the hospital for treatment. Oh, and then it gets worse. The guy allegedly pushed the opponent's wife to the ground when she tried to intervene. Yeah. So
why is he going after the wife?
Yeah, that's rough. And then a 7-year-old bystander said, "Hey, I'm going to get in this mix and I'm going to help out." Well, then he gets punched and he gets sent home with a bloody nose. Oh,
wow,
mercy.
What a disaster.
What a disaster on the pickleball courts.
So that wasn't like smack talking like you get on the court sometimes with your, basketball friends type thing. So not like
didn't come from that.
This is a whole nother level.
Entered the kitchen.
Jeez.
Yeah. See, I love it when my wife goes in the kitchen. That's good times. When Liliana goes in the kitchen, and that's the problem why I'm still at 182 pounds, is because she went and she made this special soup that's called Marry Me Soup.
Ooh.
Loaded with pasta, chicken. It's got
sounds
a
good.
Creamy, cheesy tomato sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Spinach, sun-dried tomatoes.
Ooh.
It is ridiculous.
That sounds really
good. And it's probably 1,000 calories a bowl, and I can knock out multiple bowls in one sitting. So, but when it comes to pickleball, though, stay out of the kitchen.
Okay.
Who would have thought it was a contact
sport?
Noted,
for sure.
Yeah, trash talking's about. You know what's cool about tennis? Nobody trash talks in tennis.
No.
No, it's a very gentleman's, ladies' game. It's a very formal, respectful game. I'm not saying there aren't some jerks out there, but for the most part, in a tennis match, it's kind of like golf. It's very cordial.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Not so much for pickleball, though.
The rackets are a little bit bigger in tennis, so I wouldn't want to make anyone upset.
It'd be like a sword fight. Yeah, tennis match, a fight breaks out, it can be rough.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Some good news on ice up in New Jersey. They had I say good news. They had an altercation with somebody that was trying to elude them as an illegal immigrant. He was a violent criminal. This dude had a rap sheet ranging from, listen to this, Chassie, drug trafficking, drug possession, DUI charges. He's here illegally. He's breaking our laws. He's a criminal. And when the ICE officers tried to stop him, what did he try to do? He tried to evade them. So he actually tried to use his car as a weapon. They shot his tires out. He got off lucky on that one right there. That's a stunner that they were able to subdue this guy. And it shows that back in 2021, he had a removal order issued by a judge. Now, this is what I find interesting. So they know this guy is here illegally. They know he's a bad dude. Back in 2021, the judge issues a removal order, which means they had him in custody. But he remained in the United States. What was that conversation like? Like, hey, you know what? You're not a good dude. You've committed all these crimes. You're here illegally. Would you do us a favor and go home? Why wouldn't he have been deported back in 2021 when they had him in custody? Now, I don't know how many of the crimes he committed since 2021 have taken place in this, what I'm reading right now, but they identified that he shouldn't have been here. He was a bad dude. But the good news is ICE got him, and they're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
So he's a goner. And then speaking about ICE, we've heard about all the drama up in Minnesota. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, has come out and said, hey, we're starting our withdrawal of the operation that we were doing in Minnesota. Basically, this is not conceding defeat. This is basically celebrating victory, that they've accomplished what they set out to do. This started back in December. It's gone on for a couple of months. We followed a lot of the events that have taken place up there because it's gotten very hostile, mainly because of the protesters.
Yeah.
Had the protesters just stepped back and let ICE do their job,
sure,
we wouldn't have had all these headlines.
Absolutely.
But because of the protesters, there was events that took place. It made this national, not even national, worldwide media. They've arrested some 4,000. These are illegal immigrants who are in this country, and they're violent criminals.
Yes. Get rid of them.
Good work.
That's right.
Good work. So he comes out, he announces, hey, we're going to start the drawdown. We're going to leave a skeleton crew, basically, so that they can wrap up whatever operations they have going on there. Again, this is not a concession to defeat. This is a celebration of victory that they got their job done, in spite of all the far left radicals fighting them every step of the way. And at the end of the day, when you look at the list of the people that they're removing from our country, we will be safer.
Yes.
We'll be safer for it. You listen to the Marc McMain Show. We got a great show in store. I've got some time. I got one more headline I want to cover here. So the Republicans, the House of Representatives, passed the Save America Act. This is a major election integrity overhaul. I say the House of Representatives, it really it went down party lines. There was one Democrat that voted with Republicans, so it passed 218 to 213, and this would require people to basically have to show proof of citizenship. So they have to show something to show that they actually can legally vote in the United States. And what I find interesting on this is that this makes perfect sense. I don't know that I've ever not had to show proof, whether it be a driver's license or some form of ID that I'm here legally. I think I've always had to do that since the age of 18, and I never assumed in a million years that either myself didn't have to do it or anybody else in this country didn't have to provide documentation. Never crossed my mind that there are states that do not require you to show your ID.
It's a shame.
It is. It's a frightening shame. So the left is saying, oh, well, hey, you're going to disenfranchise some people. And I'm thinking to myself, who? Who are you going to disenfranchise? They say the elderly. My parents are in their 80s. They have IDs.
It will mess up their agenda. So.
It will mess up their agenda. But it's just, I find it insulting to the people that they are insulting. And so, well, minorities. My wife's a minority. She has no problem getting an ID.
Sure.
And they say, well, the people in the rural communities, we live in the rural community, Chastity. My friends, we've had tons of people on this show that live in rural parts of Georgia, whether in phone or in person, that have no problem getting an ID. Who are they talking about? So when they want to make these excuses of, oh, well, it's going to disenfranchise people, the only people that it's going to disenfranchise are people that shouldn't be voting.
Yes.
That's it. People that are here illegally and that should not legally be voting. People who have lost the right to vote. Those are the ones that are going to be disenfranchised. Now, the problem with this is, even though it passed in the House, it's unlikely that it's going to survive a filibuster in the Senate because of the numbers there. They need 60 on board to survive the filibuster. And if you think the House is radical, the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate are just as radical. I don't know that they're going to find the numbers. You got a couple sane guys like Fetterman, and I'm sure he would be one that they can count on to support this, but I don't know that they're going to find others to do it. I don't know. We'll follow this to see if they get the numbers to get it up. But this would just make our elections safer. It would make our elections, it would give more confidence to the people that the right people are voting. And it just checks every single box that we need to be sure that we truly have election integrity in the United States of America. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Rick Britton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church, and our very own Jeff Hood will be here in studio. Hold tight.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
These days, many think that truth is relative. You have your truth and I have mine. Speaking your truth means staying true to who you are. It may be how you feel, what you believe, or how you identify. Truth, by definition, means conforming to a fact. Two contradictory ideas can't each both be true. One may be true, one wrong. Or both may be wrong, but they can't both be true. To say so is logical nonsense. So with all the fake news and opinions flying around, how can we know what's true? At Jesus' trial, Pilate cynically asked, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He's not claiming to be one truth, but the truth. Soon after Jesus spoke these words, he rose from the dead. That's enough to convince me that Jesus tells the truth. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
For music,
I
fresh
like it.
off the
Yes.
press, a little Charlie Daniels, Devil Went Down to Georgia. What do you think of that, Jeff? I got Jeff Hood here with me in the studio.
I like it. I grew up on some CDB, Charlie Daniels
Yes.
Band. Yeah.
It's a good little intro. It's bumper music, so it kind of warms us up and cools us off.
Yeah.
So before we get to Rick, who is the pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church, we have Dr. Randall Trammell. He is running to be our next state school superintendent. Dr. Trammell, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Good afternoon, folks.
Good afternoon to you, and I appreciate you taking a minute to join us. I've got Jeff Hood in studio with us. Jeff is a major part of what's going on out in Oconee County, and actually does a little article with the Oconee Enterprise covering some actions under the Gold Dome.
I do, and I'm looking forward to hearing Dr. Trammell's story.
Yeah. So let's start off with that. Dr. Trammell, if you'll tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I live up in Cartersville, Georgia, grew up in Dalton, and I've got 3 kids. My youngest is 5, my oldest is 10, so they're here in public schools in Bartow County. My wife's a teacher, and I've been in civic education here in Georgia for about 23 years. I run an organization called the Center for Civic Engagement. In fact, talking about Oconee County, we have a lot of students that participate from the 2 high schools in our programs there from Oconee County High School. And really, I am running because our incumbent has been in office for 12 years, and Georgia's number 38 in the nation for education. And I'm just not okay with that. 70% of our third and fourth graders can't read on grade level, and if you can't read, you can't succeed. So, kind of one of the little quippy things I say when I get in a group of people is status quo has got to go.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of challenges in our schools, and we need somebody that's going to own them and fix them.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because this is interesting. And, Jeff, you can attest to this. This is one of the few races that I can think of, not just in this cycle, but in past cycles, where you've had so many people come out to challenge an incumbent. Right, there are several Republicans that are challenging the incumbent. Dr. Trammell, just kind of articulated why he's doing this. 38th in the nation is unacceptable for the trajectory of our state and how good we're doing in every other capacity, whether it be how we're friendly to business, how we're doing financially, law enforcement, you name it. To be 38th is not acceptable. What are going to be some of the biggest challenges that you think schools are facing today, Dr. Trammell?
Well, so obviously we're in a literacy crisis, and that's one. And the legislature last session and this session have taken huge strides in making that a priority, and even crafting laws and how we'll instruct our students. And we're going back to teaching phonics. You remember watching The Price is Right in the old days, and the Hooked-O-Phonics commercial would come on. So we're going back to phonics. Discipline is an issue in our classrooms. There's so many disruptions, and our teachers are frustrated. We've got to keep our teachers recruiting, and retention is a huge issue. So there's a lot of things like that.
Well, and I think you have proofs of concept within our state. If you're going to look at, and Jeff, you can talk about Oconee County, I'll talk about Walton County. These are school systems that do have a zero tolerance for disruption in the classroom. It's not going to take place. And that's why these schools are doing well, because the teachers can teach, the students can learn, and if you're identified as a problematic student, you're not going to be welcome back.
Yeah, in Oconee County, it's an affluent county, and we have very little in the way of discipline issues. I mean, the kids there, they want to achieve, they want to go to the next level, be it college, technical school, or the military. So fortunately, we do not have that issue. And like with almost anything, I credit the parents for that.
Yeah, parents have to be involved, no doubt.
Sure.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Dr. Randall Trammell. He's running to be the next state school superintendent. Dr. Trammell, let's kind of build on this. So you talked about, some of the challenges. What would be some of the 3 improvements? Let's go top 3 improvements that you would like to make, let's say, year 1 if you're elected.
Yeah, year 1, we've got to make sure that we have a restored relationship with the legislature. Right now, the legislature is simply working around the Department of Education. This huge literacy package that is going up now essentially removes all literacy from the Georgia Department of Education and puts it up under the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. So you've got to have partners within your other state agencies, and certainly the legislature and the Governor's Office, to make sure that real things happen. You've got to partner also to make sure that your teachers are supported, that the school systems have what they need in terms of professional development, to make sure those teachers are supported. And then I'm a big parent advocate as well. We've got to make sure that our parents have choice. So I'm a parent choice candidate, which means that, yes, I want our public schools to be successful, but not every child is the same. We're not a Ford assembly line, and I believe that some children need different options, and I think that Georgia should provide that for them.
So that would be like an expansion of school choice is what you're suggesting?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Got you. And going back to recruitment and retention, I think, once again, this is complex, Jeff, because if you look at some of the county, right, and I'm going to talk about Walton County, they can have sometimes multiple applicants for one opening. So you might have a position open and there's dozens of resumes coming in, but you don't have to travel too far, especially if you go back west into Gwinnett County, where you maybe have the opposite. You've got dozens of openings and a handful of candidates.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, that can get tricky, without a doubt. I think, one incentive we have in Oconee County, or one problem we have, I would argue, is the price of housing. And so it has limited young families from coming in, breaking that barrier to be able to buy. Maybe the average price of a house in our county is like $600,000, and it's tough if you've got young children. Starter home, that's not a starter home, it's the same way with attracting good talent in teachers. A lot of our teachers in Oconee County don't even live in the county; they drive over from Clark or Madison County or Oglethorpe. But an incentive that they've put in place, Mark, is if they have children, they can bring the kids with them, tuition free, to attend our school system. And I think we've got about 300 kids that don't live in the county, but their parents work in the system, and they can come and get a great education in our schools.
No, I think things like that are important. And Dr. Trammell, I'm going to throw something back in your lap that this is not a gotcha question. It's a complex question. You mentioned parents. Parents do want transparency. Parents want to be involved. And I say that some parents want to be involved. Where you have school systems that are struggling hand in hand, you have parents who are not involved. It's almost, it goes side by side.
Absolutely.
What role can the state school superintendent have in that to either rejuvenate enthusiasm, or let's take it a step further, is there something that can be mandated that requires parents to be involved at some form or fashion so that it improves this? Because I don't know how it improves if the parents don't want to roll up their sleeves and make a difference.
Well, you're hitting on something that's absolutely true. Those schools and school systems where parents are involved are the ones that are more successful. And parental involvement is so key. Unfortunately, in a lot of places in Georgia, you've got parents working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, and then some parents just don't parent, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So our job is to do the best we can, between the hours of 8 and 3 or whenever we have the children. I think that, I wish we could mandate that everyone be a good parent. I don't know that that's constitutional, but it's certainly a great idea. And so what we have to do as, when we get these children in our schools, we have to do the very best we can to take them from where they are when we get them to make them the very best they can, to be, when they graduate, ready to be employed, ready to be enrolled in technical school or technical college or university or enlisted into the armed services.
Yep.
Dr. Trammell, one of the legislation pieces that's moving quickly at the Capitol under the Gold Dome right now is an extension of the cell phone ban for students, and it's going to extend to grades 9 through 12. I'm sure you're on board with that, but how important is it to take away those distractions for kids all the way from K through 12?
It is absolutely essential. Just look at, the 3 of us, we're grown men, and, if you're like me at some point in some time, if you're sitting in a meeting or sitting at dinner or something, you're glancing at that, and it's easy to get distracted from whatever you're in, whether it's conversation with your family or whatever. I have heard anecdotal reports from students where they voluntarily had this ban, for example, in Houston County. And one of the students flat out told me, he said, listen, since I've had to lock my phone up every morning, my grades in every class have gone up a whole letter. So
Wow.
It's simply, helping with those distractions. But also, if you talk about the bullying and stuff, when we were in school, if you had an issue with, guy down the street or whatever, there was a cooling off period because we didn't have Facebook and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But they have these devices in their hands that just gets that fueled and keeps it up. So I think you're going to see a lot of positive benefits from that legislation that Representative Scott Hilton's carrying, not only academically, but I think you're going to see some benefits mental health-wise as well.
Yeah, and that's another big deal. That's a whole other conversation for another day. Marc McMain, our guest, Dr. Randall Trammell, ready to be the next state school superintendent. A couple more minutes, Dr. Trammell, and I'm going to drop another bomb on you here. And this wouldn't be fair because I put this on Misha Maynor, who was on the show. I put it on Bubba Longrear, some of the people that are challenging the incumbent. So another big deal for me is the health of our school-age students. And this starts now really in kindergarten all the way up through high school. And there's 2 elements to this. One is diet and one is exercise. How much influence can the state school superintendent have? Because I know some of this are set by federal guidelines, but does the superintendent have a say in nutrition or maybe a more regimented exercise program, especially in, say, K through 5, K through 6 to kind of get these kids off to a good start?
So absolutely. So there are USDA regulations that you have to follow on the food side, and really those regulations usually set the minimum threshold. They no longer, they don't put a roof on what you can do or a ceiling, but they put the minimum threshold. So certainly we could do things around the school nutrition and what we provide in our lunchrooms. But on the topic of activity, the State Board of Education, certainly under the leadership of the superintendent, has the ability to set standards of what students should be doing in terms of activity. One of the things that you may have seen recently on the news in Cobb County is parents getting very, very vocal about the lack of recess time. So my son is in third grade, and they get about 15 minutes a day in recess. And number one, for a third grade boy, he needs more time than that to get his, the ants out of his pants or whatever. But I mean, that's physical activity, being on the playground, running and, climbing and all of that sort of stuff. But then you actually got the physical education classes as well that is important.
I think it's vitally important, especially when we look at the trajectory of where our country is going in those capacities as it relates to childhood obesity, childhood or adolescent diabetes. We have to address it. And I've said it before, it's like, what good is it if we're teaching our kids to be able to read and do math, but they're so unhealthy that it's it's counterproductive. So I know, and there's a lot. You guys, if you win this race, you're going to have a lot on your plate because we have to elevate our standing right now in the nation, which we're currently ranked at 38. We have to get north of that. It's despicable for who we are and what we have and the resources that we have as a state. In the final minute, do us a favor, tell us, our listeners, how they can find out more about you, if they want to support you, if they want to help out, learn more about you. How would they do that?
Absolutely. So you can visit my campaign website, trammelforgeorgia.com. So Trammell, TRAMMELL, the number, not the number, that's spelled out, FOR, and Georgia.com, spelled out as well. And I give my cell phone number to anybody, and I'll give it to you here on air. Folks, you've got concerns, you call me, 678-383-7618. Again, 678-383-7618. And I tell folks all the time, listen, I work for you. If you give me the opportunity to serve in this position, I work for you, and I want to make sure that everybody is taken care of, from whether you be up in North Georgia or South Georgia or somewhere in between. It's a very important job. And Mark, I thank so much for letting me join you and Jeff today, and just blessings upon you all for all you do.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us, and we wish you luck on the trail.
Thanks so much. Y'all take care.
Absolutely. It's Dr. Randall Trammell. He is running to be your next state school superintendent. Visit his website, learn more about him. Take a stake in this, folks. It's big deals. These are big elections, and rare is it that you see a race that has so many people challenging an incumbent, and that is typically indicative of the fact that the general public is not happy with the job that is currently, the performance of the current person there. Wouldn't you agree with that, Jeff? I mean, when's the last time we've seen a race this packed with challengers?
Yeah, I think I agree with him. I think it's time to make a change.
Yeah, and it's not easy unseating an incumbent.
Yeah.
Just having the I next to your name on a ballot carries a ton of weight. So it's an uphill battle for them, but 38th, you can't argue with numbers.
Right.
I'm a math guy. If we're 38th in the nation, we should be top 10.
Agree.
Top 5.
And
maybe.
we've got some great candidates, including Dr. Trammell, that are running.
I've had them all on the show.
Yeah.
I think I've had them all on the show. Yeah, and they all got a great vision. So you're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Quick break. Come back. We're going to be talking with Rick Britton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Dreaming of the perfect backyard this summer? Hi, I'm Jason with Rosewood Luxury Pools. We design, build custom in-ground pools with timeless design and lasting quality. As a licensed general contractor, we handle every detail from concept to completion so you can just relax and enjoy the process. Summer's right around the corner. Let's get ready for your pool party. Give us a call at 678-635-7276 or look us up at rosewoodluxurypools.com.
Roll-Off Systems of Statham, they're on a roll. They offer dumpsters in all sizes, trash compactors, porta potties, and new combo cans. Existing sites are new building sites. Trash and waste disposal, it's their business. Locally owned and operated. Call Roll-Off Systems today. 770-725-ROLL. That's 770-725-ROLL. Or go to rolloffsystems.com.
Jeff Hood sitting right next to my left. About 6 months ago, 7-8 months ago, Jeff called me one day and said, hey, there is a really talented gospel band coming to Watkinsville. They're going to be performing at Mars Hill Baptist Church, and you said you got to come.
Yeah.
Sunday service. So I came out, and I had the blessing of meeting the pastor who's now with us, Mr. Rick Britton. Thanks for joining us today, Rick.
Thank you for having me.
Met your beautiful wife. She spent a good 20 minutes talking to me and my wife in your lobby, just made us feel right at home. So that was a wonderful Sunday for us.
Well, thanks for being there, and you're right about my wife. She's a great lady.
Well,
and she's listening, by the way.
Oh, great. Good. She's going to be critiquing us.
Denise, I didn't tell him to say that.
That's right. I had that queued up on my own. The first question I'm going to ask is, how did you guys land? Because we stayed for the service, and it was pretty much, you had maybe about a 10-minute mini sermon that you did.
Right.
And then you went right into the music. What a talented group that you brought to Watkinsville.
Yeah.
Jeff has the connections with it. Jeff Hood knows everybody.
He does know everybody.
He does, and he knows the Isaacs, and so they were going to be in town, and they came and sang.
We were blessed to have them.
So they were making a tour, and you were able to.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
They're friends, so they came and hung out with us. But I was delighted to see them come. But I tell you, hopefully that intrigued a few people that don't normally come to church, and they're taking a look at Mars Hill Baptist, because there's a lot of really good things going on there.
It was a fantastic visit. We're going to get into that because we came because you introduced us to it, but you can see why people are returning every Sunday, and so good job on bringing a band like that, because when you're there, you're like, wow, they're very talented gospel, kind of like a country gospel,
yeah,
right?
Country bluegrass, sort of,
just fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Pastor Rick, you have taken an unusual path to becoming a pastor. You have a law degree. Tell us about this. So maybe give us a background of who you are and what you've done prior to this.
Sure. Grew up in Douglas County, Georgia, and you were just talking about education. Come from a family of educators.
Okay.
My brother was a teacher, then a school superintendent. One of my sisters is the president of the college up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
I went to West Georgia College, graduated, came to Athens, went to UGA Law School, and graduated and practiced law for about 35 years.
So this was your full-blown career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the last 20-plus years, I worked with a firm in Atlanta, and we represented a lot of ministries, very well-known, internationally known ministries, or little small startup ministries and churches. And so always kind of had a sense that the Lord had something else for me, so I picked up a seminary degree along the way, too, from Southwestern Seminary, Fort Worth.
Was that something that you could kind of do online?
I did a lot of it online. I did a study abroad program one summer in Oxford in England and got a lot of semester hours that summer. And then one thing led to another, and I was actually in Florida working on a case for the law firm, and our Sunday school class from our previous church was taking food to a homeless shelter in Athens. And my wife, who was there with our class, bumped into a lady from Mars Hill, and the lady from Mars Hill said, "We're looking for people to preach." They were without a pastor at the time. That's how they got my name, and one thing led to another, and that's been 5.5, 6 years ago.
So you really didn't spend time serving as like an associate pastor someplace? No. You just kind of went 0 to 60?
I had been an interim pastor while I'm still practicing law at another church in Athens.
Okay.
And I was doing a lot of teaching. I was very involved at my home church, as involved as you could be, but this is my first full-time job at a church.
What was seminary like?
I enjoyed it. I tell people the biggest lesson I learned in seminary was how much I did not know. The more you know, the more you realize you don't
Biblically.
know. It was humbling.
Yeah.
It was very humbling, but it was fantastic. The professors were godly men, and it was so encouraging to see that, just to read the Bible, and to understand that this Bible I've been reading virtually all my life and taught in classes for a long time. But it's so powerful, it's so rich, it's so deep, that the smartest people with advanced degrees from world-class institutions can't fully understand it, but it's so simple that a little boy can hear it being read and understand
Right.
it. So it's just a great experience for me.
Do you feel that's your background? Because when you get a law degree, I don't have one, but I have many friends who are lawyers, and they tell you it is a ton of reading and a ton of writing.
It is.
To earn your law degree. Did that prepare you for this?
It helps. It did. And I practiced primarily in civil litigation, so you're always thinking about arguments and preparing arguments and writing briefs for the judges to read. And so when you read a passage of Scripture, it's easier for me, I think, to come up with, okay, this is the point, and come out with an outline for a message.
Yeah, so you got the framework and how to deliver the message.
You think analytically.
Marc McMain, our guest, is Rick Britton. He is the pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church over in Watkinsville, right off Mars Hill Road. Jeff, so I've only been to visit once, and that was the day.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was a mini sermon at best, and then a lot of music. So I'm going to ask, what is the style? What is Pastor Rick's style? Is he heavy duty, hard hitting, or is it because they have a flow to it?
Yeah, he can be challenging, and he'll make sure we're all awake at times.
Okay,
he'll ask us a question.
bit.
Raise your hand if this, and so I think he's, not just saying that's because he's sitting to my left, but I think he's a fantastic pastor. I love the delivery style. I remember last Sunday he preached out of James, I think chapter 1, verses 26 and 27, if I'm not mistaken. So it resonates, and you leave and you feel like you kind of maybe touch the Lord and learn something, and you can take it with you. I think if I can leave and be a better person from a Christian standpoint and take it out in the world,
something that you can apply almost immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond Pastor Rick, because we've got fantastic music with Michael Magoo leading our choir. And then I tell you what I really love is that kind of what I call the small group. If you come at 9:30 on Sunday mornings, is the Sunday school classes. And the first time we went, and we my wife and I, we were just like, can you make a suggestion when we walked in the door? And they said, there's so many to choose from.
Of the small groups.
The Sunday school classes, but I still call them small group.
Yeah.
But the traditional Sunday school classes. And I'll tell you, I am just blown away by the talented, and that may not be the right word, but God-inspired people that lead from the little kids all the way to the older adults, and in between, the range of just the caliber of Sunday school teachers that are at Mars Hill Baptist Church. It's amazing.
So they're investing themselves in that opportunity to be a leader.
And we have big crowds that come. My wife and I go to the class led by John and Cindy Bricker, and they just know the Bible so well. We're in the book of Acts, and this coming Sunday, Paul's about to be shipwrecked, by the way. So come and join us.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Marc McMain Show, Rick Britton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church. We've also got Jeff Hood here in the studio with us. When you made this decision to kind of change careers, which this is what it was, what obstacles or maybe what apprehensions or fears did you have about doing this at this stage of your life?
Well, it's I think ultimately something you just kind of sense that that's what the Lord wants you to do, and you just got to do it.
Did you have public speaking experience prior to this?
Well, I mean, as I say, I've appeared in courts all over the country, and so trying cases before juries or making arguments hundreds of times before judges, which is not the same thing as preaching, but it's similar.
But similar, getting in front of people,
thinking on your feet, and so I have that background. But the great difference is that when you're in a court and you're representing a company, a client, a ministry, a church, an individual, that's a great privilege. But invariably, you're going to have some issue. You got a hole in the case, or the facts are against you, or the laws are against you. The great thing about being a pastor and a preacher is every time you get up and speak, you're speaking from God's inspired word.
Right.
It's always right.
Yeah.
So you just need to communicate the truth in a clear fashion.
What about your family? How did they respond when you started demonstrating that this is a direction you're going to go in?
My wife has known it as long as I've known it. She's all for it.
She knew it was on your heart. Yeah.
Just the Sunday you were there, you see, she's so involved.
Yeah.
I mean, she's great. She's just a tremendous asset, a blessing. We've got one son. He's in the ministry. He and his family were missionaries in India and then in Kenya.
Really?
And now they've transitioned back to the States about a year and a half ago. He's on staff at a church up in Elkin, North Carolina. So they were all for it. I mean, they weren't surprised for it. So they're all behind it.
Just a natural transition for you.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Do you remember the first day that you were on your own, preaching on your own? Was it nerve-wracking?
The first sermon I ever preached was years ago. I did some lay preaching, would fill in for pastors and fill in my own church. Yeah, you get excited. I still get nervous. If you don't get a little nervous,
you're right.
Something's wrong with you.
No,
it's like pregame jitters.
Yep.
You need those butterflies. It's motivation. And you don't want to just mail it in.
No, that's a good way of putting it, because no matter how many times, even doing something like this, I'm getting geeked up, and Chastity's having to,
yeah, exactly,
get your game face on.
Because
right. You got to be ready. You got to deliver.
You got to go.
It's live radio. I don't get a second chance, and I botch it enough as it is, so I can't botch it anymore. So you got to keep it clean. We got a couple more minutes before we take our first break, and I was curious, what advice would you give to somebody, whether they're at this stage in their career, maybe they've had a successful career doing something and they've had a calling to the ministry, or somebody coming out of the gates that wants to do this, a young person that's like, man, I want to be, what advice would you give?
That's the most important thing. Make sure it is a calling from the Lord. It's not just a career choice.
Yep.
I'm not just looking for a new job, but I'm looking, okay, God, what you have for me. And I tell people this all the time, Mark, is that you can have no greater calling than to do whatever God has called you to do. If he calls you to be a state senator, then that's God's calling for you, and it would be wrong for you to be a pastor.
Right.
Whatever God calls you to do, whether it's an educator, a stay-at-home mom, a computer specialist, whatever God has for you, that's what you need to do, and that's God's special plan for you. For me, right now, is to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And so that's the calling, and you just got to do what God calls you to do.
Where do you suggest to somebody, if they feel that calling, what is their next step? Is it to start researching seminaries? Because, again, not everyone has the ability to go relocate.
Right.
So it's probably going to be an online deal. You found success with the one that you went to, and I would imagine there's a lot of options in that arena.
Oh, there are a ton of options for seminaries, and I would encourage some seminary work. Before that, I would encourage you to just take baby steps and get involved, get connected with a local church and volunteer there and try different things and find out where your gifting is. I think that's one way to confirm the calling. If you feel called to preach, okay, connect with a local church and get under a pastor and help him mentor you.
Right.
If you feel called to serve with children or youth or college age, do that and make sure it's confirmed, and it will resonate with you, and the people who hear you will respond. I think that's how God confirms the calling.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as being a deacon, or if you want to lead a small group, if there's opportunities for that. So you don't have to be the pastor of the church to have a hand.
I tell the people in the church, if you think your gift is singing and you get up and sing and the baby start crying and the dogs start howling, you don't have the gift of singing.
That's the first cue.
He's pretty blunt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like that.
That's exactly right.
You missed your calling. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're going to take a quick break. We're visiting with Dr. Rick Britton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church. Jeff Hood
is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2- and 3-bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
I've got to tell you about the best kept secret in Monroe for electric wholesale supply, Allen's Electric. Family owned and operated since 1972, Allen's Electric offers a complete line of electrical supply, wiring, breakers, bulbs, heating elements, electric motors, light fixtures, and so much more. Located at 925 West Spring Street in Monroe, stop by and see Brian and Cindy, in business for over 50 years. That's Allen Electric Supply, 770-267-5572.
Leadfoot Mulching and Grading offers land clearing, hauling of gravel and sand, and more. And now offering screen topsoil for the farmer or homeowner, asphalt paving, and more. No job is too big or small. Locally owned and operated, it's Leadfoot Mulching and Grading, serving all of North Georgia. Fair prices and great customer service. Phone 404-909-5227 or go to Leadfoot.
Rick Britton, he is the pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church in Watkinsville, right off Mars Hill Road. Jeff Hood, who is a regular contributor to WMOQ, sometimes political, sometimes he does high school football. Mm-hmm. What are you doing to fill your time right now in the off season, Jeff?
Politics, General Assembly.
You're going down there and you keep an eye on what's going on with the
streaming, or I go once a week to the Capitol. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to have you on probably next week then to give us a little update on what's going on the political side.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about something real quick that I find interesting. We mentioned this in the break. When I visit different churches, I find it fascinating how each church, I'm not going to say they have their interpretation, but each church has their own type of music, right? You have the Church of Christ, which is very traditional, vocals only, no instruments. Then you maybe move up to the Monroe First Methodist, where they have an organ, and they may have a couple of minor instruments and a chorus that actually sings. And then you go to some of the churches like Greystone that have electric guitar, drum set, everywhere in between. Where do you guys land? What kind of music?
Well, we are. I've borrowed this term from a friend of mine. We're current, not contemporary, but current. So we'll have a drum set. We've got a bass player. We've got our music worship pastor, Michael Magoo, plays a guitar. We'll have other instrument pieces at times, and we sing new songs. And I think here's the key, is that each church has to have its own personality.
Yeah.
You read through the New Testament, the church at Corinth was different from the church at Philippi, and it was different from the church at Ephesus.
Yep.
And you can't just be a cookie cutter. I'm going to copy this, working down the street for that church, so let's do that.
Right.
Well, that may not be what the Lord has for you. Maybe it works for them. And so you got to have your own unique personality, and that's what we've prayed about, and God willing, that's what we're doing at Mars Hill.
So no, you're not going to be singing from the hymnal book, but it's the current
new praise songs.
Yeah, praise songs.
And we'll also sing some older hymns with maybe updated arrangements, or just some of the older hymns from time to time.
Yeah.
A few months ago on a Wednesday night, we just had a hymn sing, and people came and we sang old hymns all night long. But on Sunday mornings, you're going to get a new variety of music.
All right, I've got a quiz for you guys, and if you listen to my show, you know the answer to this quiz.
Okay.
Who is considered the father of contemporary Christian music, Christian rock and roll, as we're going to call it? This is the godfather of Christian rock and roll.
Is it Michael Tomlin or Chris Tomlin?
No.
Okay.
A guy named Larry Norman.
Larry
Dates
Norman.
back to the 60s, 70s, and I tell people that if you have an electric guitar in your church, you can thank Larry Norman for that, because he broke that barrier, because back then, guitars in the churches didn't mix, and there was actually a pushback that kind of guitars and rock and rolls of the devil. Not that you're playing rock and roll, but it's just kind of a neat little thing. I figured I'd stump y'all with that. But I do. I enjoy when you visit different churches. I enjoy what they bring to the table in the form of music. The one thing that I'm curious about is, where did the standing up come from when the music is played? Is that because it's considered praise, or where does that come about?
Probably praise. You stand up in the presence of the Lord. That may have something to do with it. Plus, it just keeps people awake, as Jeff said a minute ago. That helps too.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's interesting that the bumper music is "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
That's right. We broke this out today. We probably picked the wrong day to do this, Chastity.
It's okay.
What else could we have done? We had another one.
It's good. I like it.
I actually was thinking like Southern hymns.
No, I'm glad you went with Charlie Daniels, man.
Oh, you can't go wrong
Charlie
with Charlie
was a devout Christian and a military man. So there you go.
I broke out
Thank
"Devil
you.
Went Down to
Thank
Georgia" when I'm bringing in the pastor today. So that was too much fun. Marc McMain, our guest, Rick Britton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church in Watkinsville. You guys went through a major remodeling. I guess you had a fire a few years back.
There was a fire. The church was the predecessor to the current building, was struck by lightning in 1995 and burned to the ground.
Wow.
And so the whole building had to be rebuilt, and it was completed in 1997. So the fire was a turning point in the life of the church. They had a business meeting that night before the fire to discuss whether we need to expand and increase the size of the building, and they didn't make a decision. Well, it got struck by lightning that night. And so it's like the Lord made the decision for the church.
They did.
So they rebuilt, and it's a beautiful traditional.
It is a beautiful
building.
facility.
And thank God we've renovated all the facilities since we've been there. The Lord's been so great to that. But yeah, that was a turning point in the life of the church.
What all do you have there? I've been to the main facility. Do you have a gymnasium?
We've got a gym, classroom space. We've got a baseball field across the road. I was thinking about this today. There's a preschool there Monday through Friday, 160 kids, half-day preschool, Christian preschool. There was a ladies' Bible study there going on when I left. Tonight at the church, we'll have a grief share seminar for people grieving lost loved ones. We've got a luncheon tomorrow for the senior adults. We've got college activities. Had a college service last night. The college will be going out to one of the assisted care homes on Sunday afternoon to sing and do a Bible study, plus our regular services on Sunday morning. So there's a lot of things going on. Men's Bible studies, ladies' Bible studies, college. So
and on Monday nights we have open basketball.
Gym for basketball. Pickleball on Tuesdays.
Oh, basketball, pickleball can get rough.
Cindy Bricker's listening.
No.
She's our pickleball ace.
No fights are breaking out, are they?
No, but she fell and broke her arm.
Yeah,
Oh,
diving for the ball, I think. Or maybe
so you need to
slipped.
come play basketball.
Jeez,
or
I'm
pickleball.
terrible.
There you go.
I can play some pickle. Basketball would be a train wreck, but no, pickleball is no joke. We actually talked about that before you got on here, the big pickleball brawl. So hopefully everyone behaves themselves at church pickleball. People get competitive though, even if it's at church.
Yeah,
people, they forget where they're at, the house of the Lord. But I also noticed you guys do some community events. I came there the other night for the DOT where they were kind of explaining the road blockages,
Right.
and that was behind. You have a big campus.
That was in the gym, right? They
was
asked
the
us
gym.
if we would host the information meeting for the people in the community to
Yeah.
come, and we're doing on February 28th. We're hosting it's called the All Abilities Camp for the FCA, and it's a camp for special need athletes. And so there'll be 30 or 40 people from 5 to 40 years old with special needs, and they'll be in the gym being accompanied by people as they go from one station to the next, and their parents or families will be in another room where people are encouraging them to give them a Bible study. So it's a great way just to minister to the community.
Yeah. Have you heard of that, chick? Because Chastity's big in the Special Olympics. So have you heard of that before, Chastity, the program
No,
for
but
FC?
I love that.
Yeah.
This is all about, I think this is the second or third one they've done in Georgia.
Oh, nice.
February the 28th.
28th.
No,
Right.
that's the beautiful part, doing
I
things
love
like that for the community that, give people a space to
And,
meet.
and one other thing I want to mention, we have a lot of college students that come to our church that go to UGA or UNC, some other UNG, some other colleges in the area. And that has grown a lot. We've had some that were baptized and have joined the church. And if I'm not mistaken, Pastor, I think, aren't they going to lead the service on
February the 22nd.
22nd?
The music will
Yeah.
be led by the college, so it's
That'll be fun.
I
Yeah.
love seeing those young
Yeah.
people up there leading the service.
Yeah, that gives them great opportunity. You mentioned that your son was a missionary. He and his wife were missionary. What mission work do you guys do? Is that something that's big for Mars Hill?
We do a lot of mission work. Last year, for example, we sent a team to Norway. We sent a team to Jamaica. We support local ministries. Chosen for Life is a foster care ministry in Watkinsville. We support Fresh Wind Ministry in Athens is a ministry to help men and women dealing with alcohol and drug addiction. We support that. We support all sorts of ministries like that. So we're very missions-minded, intentionally so. The Southern Baptists every year has a international offering they take, or an offering they take up at Christmas time to support international missions. It's called the Lottie Moon Christmas Offering, named in honor of a lady who was a missionary in China. And every penny you give goes to support missionaries in another country. And so we're about to send a check to that for $85,000 that the church gave this Christmas.
Wow. And how do you identify when you let's mention Norway or whether it be one of the other areas you go to? How do you identify a need, and then what do you do to strategize what we're going to do? It's like who we're sending and what are you going to do when you get there?
You typically meet somebody, you know the missionary in that country, you see the need. Hey, can we help? And so in Norway, we sent a team of 6 or 7 college students there, and they ministered all week long, engaging the Norwegian people who are very, very distant, removed from the gospel. And they would give them free cups of coffee to try to engage them in a gospel conversation. Jamaica, we met a husband and wife team who's been down there for several years, and they work with families who have special need children.
Okay.
And so we went down there to minister with them for
So you got a game plan that you know when you get there what you're doing.
A lot of it, you know the people, and do you have confidence in that person that he or she knows what they're doing? And so then you go.
What's next for you guys?
Let's see, what is next? I'm trying to think.
Any addition plans, like new buildings? New
We're
growth,
praying about some things down the road for that. What's next is that we want to continue the momentum. Just a snapshot. About 6 years ago, so the church went through a difficult time, and it got down to about 40 people or so.
Okay.
And so it's been rebuilding. When we got there, the Lord's done a great work, and so now He's blessed with people. The facilities are updated. When we got there was $250,000 in debt. That debt's been paid off. And so the thing that I want you to hear and the listeners to hear is that the Lord's been good to Mars Hill Baptist Church. We give Him the credit for that.
Amen.
So what's next is whatever He wants. We want to make sure we're walking with Him. I tell the people all the time, just do the next right thing, the next right thing. How do I know God's will for my life, Rick? Just do the next right thing, the next right thing. And when you do that, He'll get you where you need to be when you need to be there. And it begins with that relationship with Him. That's the most important thing.
And something I do want to add to what the pastor said is that he has said, and I believe we have a pretty large population near our church, but we never want to steal someone from that is already attending or participating in a Bible believing church. But the scary thing, Mark, is there are so many people nowadays that are unchurched, and we are really trying to go focus on those people.
What does that mean, unchurched? Does that mean just...
It means no church affiliation at all. Jeff mentioned a few minutes ago that Oconee County is an affluent county. One study I saw a few years ago, it's the second most affluent county in Georgia behind Forsyth County. The average price of the house is $500,000 or $600,000. Within 10 or 15 minutes of the Marsville campus, there are about 70 subdivisions. About 78% of those people are not churched. They don't go to church. They don't have any affiliation with the church.
Interesting.
And that's true in a lot of counties in Georgia. We think this is the Bible Belt. Well, there are a lot of people in the Bible Belt who don't know the Lord.
Yeah.
And they don't go to church. And what I tell people this, it's not the label on the outside. It's not whether you're Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, whatever. It's do you have a relationship on the inside. That's what matters. And so our goal is to reach the community. Lord, I feel like we just scratched the surface, and he's got great plans, but we got to keep going. You got to keep going. You can't just say, okay, we're good. We've reached a certain place, and we're satisfied. You got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's right. And again, I think what I experienced when I came there to visit you guys, it's very welcoming, very friendly. You walk in, you're greeted, which is a big deal. You make yourself accessible, which I would think is fantastic. You know, when you get to actually shake hands with the pastor of the church, and I really enjoyed my time there. It was, I know it was a little bit not a traditional service that you have, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's not typical. But the thing that people are looking for, I've heard this so much recently, whether it's a huge church of 2,500 people or a small church of 50 people, they want to be connected with somebody.
Right.
And we're doing a thing this month we call 2+2, connect with 2 people in the church you don't know and 2 people outside the church, and be intentional to get to know those people and invite those people, minister to those people, and bring them with you.
Are people following through on this?
Yeah. So I've had good remarks about that so far. And it's just exciting to see. We did a thing in the fall we called 7 at 7, pray for 7 minutes at 7 a.m., 7 minutes at 7 p.m., or both, and pray for the church. And we had a great 40-day session. Every Sunday there were things happening,
Wow.
people coming to the Lord, people being baptized, things like that.
And I connected with the lady at Chick-fil-A this morning that gave me my biscuit. So, yeah, seriously.
You told her about the church?
Yeah. I have. I've invited them to church.
That's good. No.
Yeah. And I got the biscuit on top of it. So, yeah.
That's a win-win. Guys, I really appreciate y'all coming in. And well, let's do this, too. If somebody wants to find out more about the church, I'm assuming you have a website or social media?
MarsvilleBaptist.org. You can go there, and there are links there to the church Facebook page and Instagram, but MarsvilleBaptist.org, or there's an app. If you go to the App Store, Mars Hill Baptist in Watkinsville, there's an app for the church. So it's easy to find. Church number 706-548-6962. 2661 Mars Hill Road. They named Mars Hill Road after the church. The church was founded.
It was there first.
In 1799, so it's one of the older churches in the area.
Well, guys, I greatly appreciate y'all coming in. I know you've been busy, Jeff, and Pastor, I appreciate you taking a moment from your day to come and share this with us.
Thank you. It's been a blessing. God bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Chastity and I, we have some things to go over, Chastity, and then we got Mr. Steve from P&A Jewelry. He's going to be calling in to save the day for all those people who forgot that Saturday is Valentine's Day. So, leave us.
I forgot.
Yes,
sorry.
You better break that wall out.
My wife is listening.
You got your credit card? Come on, Steve.
I do have my credit card.
Steve's going to hook you up.
Okay. We'll be back. I think I know better for Jeff, for sure.
We'll be back in just a few.
This is Q92.3, WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps finding your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert with 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County. Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Serving Watkinsville and the surrounding area since 2002, it's Outdoor Specialty, featuring a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, ground cover, and more. Plus, you'll find a full line of irrigation supplies, like sprinkler heads, pipe replacement parts, and more. Add some beauty to your home with a huge selection of pottery, landscape stones, mulch, and more. Step into the garden center and see their great selection of bird feeders, bird houses, Cole's bird seed, and so much more. Don't forget to pick up some of Elsie's apple-flavored deer corn. Stop in and say hello to Elsie, Diane, and the rest of the friendly staff at Outdoor Specialty, 1460 Greensboro Highway in Watkinsville. Open Monday through Saturday. Phone 706-769-8737. That's 706-769-8737. That's OutdoorSpecialtyNursery.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
These days, many think that truth is relative. You have your truth and I have mine. Speaking your truth means staying true to who you are. It may be how you feel, what you believe, or how you identify. Truth, by definition, means conforming to a fact. Two contradictory ideas can't each both be true. One may be true, one wrong. Or both may be wrong, but they can't both be true. To say so is logical nonsense. So with all the fake news and opinions flying around, how can we know what's true? At Jesus' trial, Pilate cynically asked, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He's not claiming to be one truth, but the truth. Soon after Jesus spoke these words, he rose from the dead. That's enough to convince me that Jesus tells the truth. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
To subscribe to Devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
Welcome back. I love live radio because I was able to convince my guests to stick around for one more segment because I had more things to talk about. So, Pastor Rick, Jeff, I appreciate you guys delaying your next appointment and hanging out with me for a few more minutes, because in the break, there's a couple things we started talking about that are very important, and it kind of dovetails into our conversation that we had with Dr.
Trammell.
Dr. Trammell, that's running for state school superintendent. Before we get into that, I want to give a shout out to our sheriff, Keith Brooks, who I know is listening, and prayers to his daddy, who is recovering from a fall. So keep our sheriff and his father in.
And I want to give a shout out to the sheriff in Morgan County, Tyler Hooks, because he always listens, because he tells me, to WMOQ.
He's Morgan County loyal. We're in Morgan County.
We are.
Yeah, well, we love our sheriffs, and
Yes,
appreciate
we do.
all these guys. Pastor, we had this conversation with the candidate running for state school superintendent, talking about parents' involvements, and I see this as it is a moral decline in our country, where I don't know if it's apathy, I don't know if there's distractions or what it may be, but the less you see parents involved in their children's education and opportunities, the worse things get, right? Our country is taking this dip. Every metric tells us that decade by decade. While many of us are still kicking butt and doing our best, we're unfortunately going in the wrong direction. What role does the church have in helping this out?
I think the church is the key. I mean, that's why Jesus established the church, was to be his voice, his hands, his feet on the earth. and the church's mission hasn't changed in the past 2,000 years, is to reach people with the gospel. The gospel changes people from the inside out. If you want to fix the schools, we got to reach people with the gospel and get moms and dads plugged into their children and get children tuned into the Lord. That's why we have a preschool. We want to introduce little children to the things of God at an early age. We can't do it by ourselves. It's not just bring your child to the church or the preschool and dump them off. The church can do everything.
Right, sure.
We're there as an aid to the family, to the moms and dads, but they need that help. And that's one of the things about our church. We want people to get connected. We call it an intergenerational church where older people connect with younger people. It's an individual church where somebody's going to know your name when you come in. It's an intentional church to reach people with the gospel and try to build people up in their faith.
I feel that the separation of church and state has been weaponized to do something that it was not intended to do. And that is, I think that our faith, Christ, God, has a role in government. And I think it extends to schools. I think when they removed prayer from school, which there's debate, well, they never removed prayer from school. They effectively did in the late 1960s. And from that point, it's almost like you can, if you look at the declines in our country, it's almost exactly to that moment of when it began. Is there going to be opportunities for churches to permeate back into the public school system? Because many of the private schools were fortunate. Prince Avenue, George Walton Academy, they allow the ministry, right? They even advocate for it.
Well, the darker the culture gets, the brighter the light should shine.
Sure.
And so when people are hurting, we tell this at the church all the time, people aren't the problem, people are the purpose. And so when you have hurting people, the church is there to minister to hurting people. I like the way one pastor put it, if you preach to hurting people, you'll never lack for a congregation. And all these moms and dads and their families are mixed up and messed up. They need help, and that's what the church is there for, is to love them, encourage them, point them to Christ, and to come alongside the schools. One thing we do, we take lunches into one of the schools a couple of times right around the corner from the church and just feed the staff, feed the teachers, and it's an encouraging thing for them. And so any way that we can get out into the culture, that's what we want to do.
Just have a presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let people know, hey, if you need somebody, let's call Mars Hill Baptist Church because they love people.
Yeah, I like that. Jeff, you've been following Mike Griffin, our buddy down at the Capitol.
Yeah, so if you just kind of in passing follow what's going on in the General Assembly at the Capitol in Atlanta, you're going to see them arguing on the Senate floor or the House floor, and that's about it. And then, they'll talk about that, or it's in the AJC. But where the legislation is kind of developed are in committee meetings, and they don't talk about that or show that. And if you go to these committee meetings, which is open to the public, and it's live streamed on the Georgia House of Representatives and the Senate website, you will know that they'll talk among themselves, and then they'll have public comment. Well, you'll have the ACLU, you'll have special interest groups, you'll have lobbyists. The views are all across the board, but they're secular views. And then there's this guy that comes in, he's a good old country boy named Mike Griffin, and he will lay down the smack, but in a good way, the gospel, a Christian perspective. And he'll say, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Griffin. I'm just a good old boy from here in Georgia, and I've been doing this 15 years, and I represent the Georgia Baptist Mission Board, and we are against gambling because of, and he'll cite Bible verses.
Right.
We are opposed to this, or we support this. And he is very eloquent. He's very well versed in the Bible, very passionate, and I'm just thankful that in a place where everything is worldly and it's just a secular view, that Mike Griffin is there, and he's showing or telling the Christian perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's a duty for us as a state, a conservative state, to continue to legislate morally, to keep the guardrails up. But going back to what we're talking about, it's like, how do, there's more that has to be done systemically, right? It's one thing to have laws up to keep us between the lines, but it's another thing to get back down to the foundation of who we are and be sure that we're just being better people, that we're following the Word of God, because it all starts there.
Yeah.
If all you have are laws, it's not going to work. So it's got to be this two-edged sword. It's got to be here, and it's got to be up in the Capitol.
I like the saying, the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. It begins in the heart, and you got to change a person's heart, and only Christ can do that. He changes you from the inside out. Jeff mentioned the book of James, and James is all over that. He said, if you think you're religious, but yet you don't control your own tongue, you're just kidding yourself. That's worthless. Pure and undefiled religion is this. You go visit the widows and the orphans, the people who can't help themselves, and they can't do anything for you, but you go because you love the Lord and you're trying to help them. So it's got to start from the inside out, and that's the way we change the society. And I believe that's the purpose for the church, is to reach people with the gospel, let Christ change them, and then he'll use them to change the world.
You know, in this ever-changing culture, we just saw it with the Super Bowl. There's a lot of to-do about the halftime show. I didn't watch the show, so I'm not going to cast too much judgment other than what I've heard, that it was perhaps inappropriate. It was spoken in a foreign language. It was spoken in Spanish.
Yeah.
But I've heard that there was things that were said. Maybe I'm wrong. So, again, I don't want to jump out on a cliff and not know that I'm being correct on this. But I heard that there were some things inappropriate. Remove that halftime show. Look at other halftime shows that I have seen that were inappropriate, right? And these are being shown. You know, you got 5, 8, 10-year-old kids watching it. So our culture has degraded over the years. Things that you see on TV now weren't remotely even discussed or insinuated back in the 70s or 80s. And now it's visually displayed in front of you, whether it be something sexually graphic or violently graphic or whatever it may be. How do you equip families then to stand firm when they're getting bombarded from all these different angles, whether it be social media, television, radio, or you know, just regular culture?
You got to keep giving them the truth. Paul wrote in the book of Romans to the people back then that the world is constantly trying to squeeze you into its mold. He said, I urge you, brothers, by the mercies of God, don't let the world squeeze you into its mold, but let you be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we got to change people's mind by giving them the truth of what God says, and they incorporate that into their lives, and that's how they change, is through the Word of God. And so James, the book of James, he says, listen, don't just be a hearer of the Word, but be a doer of the Word, and look intently into the perfect light. That means you do it over and over and over again. It's not like taking a flu shot and I'm good for the rest of the year. No, I need to do it today and tomorrow, and I keep living and breathing and eating the truth of the Word of God, and then live it out. The culture is degrading, and you have to be honest to admit that. But what an opportunity it is for men and women of faith to shine forth as lights in the darkness. That's why we need to elect godly people. We need to put people with good common sense, biblical values in office. If God calls you to be a politician, be a Christ-honoring politician. Yep. If he calls you to be a school teacher, then you be a Christ-honoring teacher wherever he has planted you. And that's the message, is that whether you're digging ditches or you're hosting a radio show or you're an accountant, whatever you do it heartily as unto the Lord. And that's the way he transformed your life and transformed people around you.
And can I add one thing?
Sure.
The Bible, written many years ago, to that culture, but the cultures really haven't changed. I mean, it's still applicable. And I'll make a point. I think there's really, when it comes to culture, there's nothing new under the sun, although maybe today's younger generation thinks, this is brand new. I didn't know that. This has never happened. I went to the Billy Strings concert at Aikens Ford Arena in Athens Saturday night. A lot of students were there, UGA students.
Yeah.
And they were just like captivated because they loved the music. And you know what it was? Bluegrass. And they're like, what is this new, brand new style of music? I'm like, dude, I've been listening to this since the 70s, bluegrass. Point being, been there, done that.
Yeah.
So the Bible, some people say, well, that was applicable 1,000 years ago. Guess what? It's applicable then, today, and tomorrow.
That's right.
The truth never changes. The truth never changes. What was true 2,000 years ago is still true today, and you just got to keep preaching and teaching the truth, and you can't compromise. We do it in a winsome way. We want to win people through love and not hit them over the head with a 40-pound Bible, but you got to speak truth to people.
And I love that approach. Because you're gonna push more people away than you're gonna attract if you have your arms open versus you're coming at them and telling them what they can or can't do. These segments go quick. I've got a couple more minutes here, and I was going to ask you guys: I love testimonies, right? And that's probably one of the when you go to churches sometimes and they allow somebody to go up and share their testimony of how they came to Christ. That is always impactful. Especially when you hear a testimony of somebody who was just struggling, right? They had hit rock bottom and they found their way back to the top and came to the Lord. Are there any testimonies that you guys have heard that just resonated with you, something that jumps out? You don't have to reveal the identity, but maybe a story just that somebody who has gone through that and found the love of Christ and it's changed them and it's just transformed them?
I'll tell you a quick story about my son. He was in on the mission field in Kenya, and he had a team from the States there, and they were going out sharing the gospel with people. And they saw a guy kind of hiding from them behind a tree, and they felt, let's go talk to this guy. So they did, and they started sharing the gospel with him, and he accepted the Lord. He trusted Christ.
Wow.
He reached in his pocket after he made that decision, and he brought out a container of pills. He said, I went to the drugstore this morning. I bought these pills. I was going to go home and take my own life, and then you shared the gospel with me that way. That's the power of the gospel.
Yeah.
That's the power of God. He connects you with people at just the right time in just the right ways. For me, I'm a 9-year-old kid in a church I grew up with at a vacation Bible school on a Friday morning. I trusted Christ. But whatever your testimony is, man, it's a powerful story.
Yeah.
We don't need to compare. Hey, he's got more. It may be more dramatic on the surface, but the greatest miracle the Lord will ever do is to save a person.
I had a young lady here just a couple months ago sharing her story, and it was just, you're right, it's impactful. And to hear what they've gone through and to hear how Christ has come in and just turned them around, it's so rewarding to know that's out there. And I appreciate, again, what you guys do. And I appreciate you guys sticking around for an extra 15 minutes. So
sure thing.
I lassoed y'all back in when you were way out the door. So that was a lot of fun.
Hey, man, God bless you. Thank you for having me.
God bless you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you so much. Yep, Mark McMain Show. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Enterprises invite you to stop in and see their new line of Coyote brand tractors, UTVs, and Bad Boy zero-turn mowers. Coyote tractors have the power to handle any job. Working on the farm, landscape business, and more, Coyote tractors are dependable and ready to work for you. Sales, service, parts, and more. It's all available at Cassie Enterprises. Family owned and operated. 145 Highway 83 in Good Hope. Go to CassieTractor.com.
Are you tired of going into car dealerships and never finding what you're looking for? That right salesman that's going to answer your questions and help you find what you are looking for. Well, at Loganville Ford, that's what we're about. It's not about buying a car. It's not about selling a car. It's about answering your questions and making sure we assist in every way. Loganville Ford is the hidden gem in America's car market. Come find out why we're the talk of the town. Visit us at LoganvilleFord.com or on Highway 78 in Loganville. Everybody knows where Loganville is.
You ever roll out of bed and feel like you lost a fight with a tractor? If your back's barking, your neck's complaining, and your knees pop louder than a box of cereal, it might be time for the Joint Chiropractic. There are no appointments, no insurance mess, and no sitting around all day. You just walk in, get adjusted, and head back out feeling human again. Now serving Covington and Monroe, whether you've been hauling, hunting, working, or just sleeping funny, the Joint Chiropractic keeps you moving smooth and feeling right. The Joint Chiropractic, because snap, crackle, and pop belong in your cereal and not your spine.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest is our friends from P&A Jewelry. On the line, we've got Jenny with us. Jenny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mark. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you called in because I know some of our listeners have forgotten that within 48 hours, it is the big love day of the year, and they got to be sure that they come in. And it's a Saturday too, so you can't get away with it. You can't hide and go to work and just say, "Oh, honey, I forgot." So let's kind of talk about some of the cool things that you guys have been going on over at P&A Jewelry.
All right.
Yeah, let's start off with gift ideas. So if you've got somebody comes in, a young man, let's say doesn't have a huge budget, but they want to get a little something for their loved one. Maybe it be mom, whether it's a girlfriend or their wife. What are you pointing them to?
So if they're on a budget, I would say definitely our sterling silver line, La Fawn, which is a simulated stone set in sterling silver. It's one of our number one sellers. Price point's usually under $200 or so. We also have some lab-grown diamond earrings in white gold and yellow gold that are budget-friendly.
That's the new trend, is the lab-grown diamonds. Troy and I have had a long conversation about that. Tell us a little bit about those. So if somebody was to purchase, let's say, a normal, when I say normal, I know you have all the different parameters that make a diamond either more expensive or less expensive as it pertains to clarity and color. But let's just say an average diamond that's a half-carat diamond that is a real diamond versus that's not the right words.
I was going to say that's not the right way to word that.
Yeah, how do we word that? So I want to give the listeners, what's the price difference between a diamond and a lab-grown diamond?
So it's about a third difference. There is a lot of variations that go into pricing the diamonds, so it's really hard to say you have this one stone at this amount because you have to make sure you're checking clarities, looking at apples to apples when you're doing that.
Sure.
But I would say you're about a third different.
Yep. So if you've got a diamond that's normally say $3,000, if you find a lab grown diamond that's same size, same cut, same clarity, that's going to be around $1,000 if we use that as an example.
If not less. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that's, again, if you're a young person and you want to get something nice, but you don't want to go break the bank, that's a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your line of watches that you guys have.
So we have our new line, Trovia, which is branded to our store. We're celebrating our 50th year anniversary this year, so we branded our own watch line, and it's called Trovia. They are Swiss-made movements and assembled here in the U.S., and they are absolutely beautiful. We have some in the gold color and stainless, and with black faces and all different color faces, and they're just really classy-looking watches, kind of bringing it back to the old school watch.
We actually bought one of those as a gift for our very own April Lynn as her retirement gift.
Yeah, that was a beautiful watch.
It was. Nice. You guys helped us pick it out, and that's what I also love. When you come into P&A Jewelry, you're not on your own. You're going to walk in the door, and you're going to be greeted by, and Jenny, your family. You and your brother Troy are family of the founders, and so you're going to be greeted by friends, family that can answer any question that you might have. Let's talk about somebody who maybe has a little bit more firepower. Somebody like, I don't know, who's somebody we know that's rich, Chastity? Who's a rich dog?
Les Lane.
Les Lane. Les Lane, who's got deep pockets.
Yes.
Money's not a question. He comes in with, cash, credit card, and he's just going to, that's everywhere. Right, just falling out everywhere. So if somebody's got a little more firepower, what are you pointing them to now?
I would say the diamond bracelets have been one of our number one sellers. Diamond bracelets and the flex diamond.
Huh. Okay, when you say a diamond bracelet, is that like a tennis bracelet?
So they are bangle, which is kind of like that hard style, but they are softer, so they have movement to it. So when you're riding or doing things, it's not banging around. They're just a little softer.
Do you know what that means,
Kind of like a Pandora? A little, like a little...
Similar. The body of it moves, so when you open it up, it's not like a bangle you have to slide over your wrist. Okay. It actually opens and snaps, but it keeps that round shape.
Nice.
A lot of women are doing the stackables with it, so you'll see them kind of stacked up the arm.
And what's a price point on something like that? Is that going to be over $1,000, or are we still under $1,000?
Typically, I believe we have some that start around $1,400, $1,500, and that's going to be for your gold.
Yep, that's nice. That's a nice gift.
Yeah, we actually just got some more in stock, a new load of them, and they are beautiful.
Well, I hope my husband's listening because I like the layered look. So
yes.
I'll send him to ask for you, Jenny.
Absolutely, please do.
Chassie, what does a girl want on Valentine's Day when it comes to jewelry? Do they want earrings? Do they want necklaces?
Earrings is nice. I love earrings. I love necklace, and I love a watch. So I'm going to go check out their new watch line.
Yeah, watches have gotten trendy again. Yeah,
they have. I know people always say that no one's wearing watches, but we beg to differ because we do a lot with watches.
You know what's interesting too, and you've seen this because we've gotten several for my sons at your place. My boys like watches. Mm-hmm. They they're 22, 24 years old, and they love a nice watch.
Yes.
So it's not just an older person's trend; it's younger people like them, and it's not even really so much that they're using it to tell time because everyone kind of looks at their phone for time. It's a showpiece.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It's a little bit of a
accessory.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and Jenny, if somebody wants to know how to find P&A Jewelry, can you tell us how to find you, whether it's online or where you're located?
So we are in Loganville, in between the Quick Trip on Highway 78 and American Legion. And then, of course, we're at P&A Jewelers online.
PNAJewelers.com online. Yep, easy enough.
So usually most people know where the Quick Trip is. So if you can find that in Loganville, we're right beside them.
Yeah, so if you're coming from Snellville, driving on 78, like you're heading towards Monroe, it's on the right before the Quick Trip. Easy to get into. Or if you're coming from Monroe, heading into Loganville, the Quick Trip will be on your left. And I'm going to say probably the best way to turn in is at the light at Quick Trip. If you make a left there at the light at Quick Trip, then you can kind of snake through the Quick Trip parking lot, go slow. And then it's the next strip station or strip mall down. So it's adjacent, walking distance to Quick Trip. Matter of fact, many times I've gotten gas at Quick Trip and I walk over to see Troy and Jenny. Yeah. Let my car fill up. Jenny, I appreciate you coming in, sharing this with us, and hopefully we're going to point some people your way on Valentine's Day so you guys can save the day for those who may have forgotten.
Yes, and I'm being corrected. I'm sorry. To find us online, it is shoppadjewelers.com.
Shoppadjewelers.com is the website. Great. That's easy enough to remember. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Tell Troy we said hi.
All right. Sure will.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. That's your last cue, folks. This is it. We don't give you any more reminders. If you forgot by now, how about you still got tomorrow?
Yeah.
We will give you another reminder tomorrow.
Yeah. Go see Jenny. She'll take care of you.
And that's what I love, Chastity, is when I've gone there, whether it was for a watch, whether it was for a repair or an actual piece of jewelry, you're greeted immediately, and they're patient. They don't make you feel like you're, wasting their time. So they're going to answer any question that you have and be sure they put you on the right piece of jewelry for whoever you're buying it for.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I enjoyed having her on the show, and I felt like I maybe put a good bug in my husband's ear, so we'll see.
Is he tuning in? Has he got the drift yet?
Yes.
Has he got the message? Okay.
Yes, he tunes in, so hopefully he's listening and not tuned out right this second.
And I think Les is listening right now, and he's probably sweating.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably like, oh, man.
We totally called him out.
Les has probably got a pile of sweat on his forehead. What is this one going to cost me?
Right.
All right, Les, we want to see what you got. Post it to Facebook next week. What
but Miss Virginia's happy about that comment, too.
She's loving it, too.
Right.
You know what? Miss Virginia and I are buddies because
Yes.
she is an ice cream fiend like me. She loves ice cream.
Me too. I love ice cream. Who doesn't?
No, it's American to love ice cream. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Take a quick break. We're going to be back in just a minute.
Jewelry designed just for you at P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976. We've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppadjewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new. Covington Ford has something for everyone, from the power and comfort of a brand new F-150 to the family-friendly Explorer or the trail-ready Bronco. Covington Ford wants to be your #1 local Ford dealer by offering no haggle, below invoice pricing, and interest rates as low as 0% for 60 months. We believe your adventure should be limitless, not your coverage, so we're giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly all new Ford inventory. Come check us out in person or visit us online at covingtonford.net. Your next journey starts at Covington Ford.
Clint Black on the Blacktop tour.
Walking in the moonlight, seeing nothing but the tail.
Experience the country living legend, Clint Black.
I'm leaving here a better man.
Thursday, February 26th at the Classic Center Theater. Tickets are on sale now at ClassicCenter.com.
Saturday night, everything's right with the summer.
Clint Black, produced by Pepper Entertainment.
If you're in the construction business, you're going to need a dumpster at some point in time, and that's why you need to call Atha Equipment Rental in Monroe, now offering 20 and 30-yard cans. Atha Equipment Rental now offers a complete line of landscape and construction equipment like tools, trenchers, floor sanders, jackhammers, and so much more, like rentals for your parties with tables, chairs, popcorn machines, Dunkin' booths, and more. Call Jason Atha at 770-207-6041. That's Atha Equipment Rental on East Spring Street in Monroe.
Need a little pick-me-up? We've got just the thing. From Motown magic to British invasion brilliance, from classic country gold to rock and roll that raised a gentleman. We play the songs that make you smile, sing along, and remember when life moved just a little slower. Feel good again with the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s on Good Time Oldies FM 102.5 WKUN, where every song is a memory waiting to happen.
Welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest, young lady, Macy Rutledge. I was at the Clark County GOP the other night, just there as a spectator, hanging out, and I got to see Macy and her friend Nick get up and get a little bit of a speech about a 5K that they're promoting to benefit Lake and Riley Foundation, and then they were sharing their story. It was just really good. First off, I love seeing young people get involved in events like this. Macy, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you kind of shared your testimony, if you will, not maybe a testimony, but just your background. So I want you to do the same thing for our listeners. Tell people what you've been doing for the past couple of years.
Sure. So I actually started, I'll kind of go, it's a big story, but I'll just start with, I didn't go to college. I went into a corporate position, around my 19, 20 year age, and then started out making great money doing that, got into yoga. And when I turned 25, at that point I was making a lot of money, saved up a lot, decided corporate wasn't my forte. So I ended up taking out, some of my funds and started a business around yoga. And then, one thing led to another. I got into all of this holistic New Age spirituality at the time. Started doing breath work ceremonies, went into the deep jungles of Costa Rica to do ayahuasca, DMT, traveled the world, started doing a whole venture into New Age spirituality to help heal and just connect with God through all these different things that the world was telling me that this is how you do it. Through Hindu religion, with yoga, with meditation, with Joe Dispenza. I've been to a Deepak Chopra retreat out in Maui for a week, trying to learn more about his philosophy of things and anything. Anyways, one thing led to another. I decided when I was about 29 that I was going to scale my business and leave everything else behind. So I was in Colorado at the time, and I moved to Hawaii, sold everything, and scaled my business out there. I was working on that for about 2 months, launched my new program that was teaching about manifestation and movement, so using yoga to help manifest. And the next day, I just felt like this isn't it. Long story short, I met the Holy Spirit. I met Jesus. He actually came into one of my meditations and said, "Hey, follow me." I said, "Whoa, is this Jesus? What?"
We should have had Pastor Rick Britton stick around for this. This would have been great. Perfect timing.
Absolutely. Really? Okay. That's awesome. I didn't get to hear his segment. But, I have done a lot of things. I gave you guys a large, just an overview. I could go into many details of all of this. But,
and at that point, did you decide to come back to the United States, or were you staying out where you were?
So I ended up, I was wrestling with whether I should continue to teach yoga, continue to move this. I was very, taken back. God was working in my heart immediately. Yeah. And so I kept praying about that, and I ended up teaching a class. And this is just a fun story to add into this. Is I ended up going to a class teaching yoga. Right after the class, a student came up to me and she was like, "What's going on with you?" She's like, "I just feel like I needed to come and talk to you." I was like, it's funny you ask. I just got saved. I just met Jesus.
So she could see that there was something going on, that there was a transformation taking place. Isn't that something? Wow. We
ended up talking for about 2 hours, and I was telling her about Jesus. She's very much into the same background as I was.
Right.
And anyways, 2 days later, she calls me up and she gives her life to the Lord. And we just go on this. Wow. Yeah, it was amazing. It was like God just sent her into my life so that I could also have a friend out there, because the world that I had been involved in and the environment, yes, very much. I didn't even know about church really. I grew up in church, but not in Hawaii. I didn't know if that was a thing or not.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, side note, Hawaii is very Christian. There's a lot of churches out there.
Is it really?
Yeah. Anyways, I ended up staying for about a month, and her and I just kind of dove into the Bible together, and I introduced her to my best guy friend out in Colorado, and he came and visited. They're actually married now.
No
in
way.
Colorado.
So you're a matchmaker too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's been a really cool journey since all of this started. This was about a year and a half ago.
Did you feel that your group of friends that also saw what was taking place but weren't on board with it, were you getting alienated, or were they baffled, or what was going on in that group?
Yeah, that's a great question. I did not hear much from them anymore. It was just kind of
so they just kind of pushed you to the side, and
yeah, it was silent. It was real silent.
Interesting.
I got met with resistance from a few people, because my walk started to pull me into other areas that triggered New Age spirituality modalities, because once you meet Jesus, you don't need crystals, you don't need sage, you don't need Palo Santo.
There's no man-made goods that make us better.
You don't need tarot cards, none of that stuff. Yeah. And because a lot of them were using that to make their money, and I was speaking against that, it was like, you're taking business from them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I can see why then all of a sudden you have this pushback. We're like, hey, we get it. Just stay on your side of the fence now. We don't need you over here. Yeah, that's got to be tough. What what about your family this time? What are they thinking when they see everything that you've gone through at this point? Are they in communication with you? Are they concerned? Are they?
Yeah, for sure. My dad's my best friend.
Okay.
During this whole
now, Dad
time.
a Christian the whole time?
Yes.
So he's obviously panicking, hyperventilating when you're doing the first phase of your life, right?
Well, this is the thing about New Age, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you never deny Jesus. You say that you believe in him, but you also believe in everything else too. And I think that because that's such a new philosophy, and also with the church too, like you see a lot of people I'm learning, they're also involved in astrology and Enneagram and crystals and say they're Christians. So New Age is just like another religion, I guess you could say, that says, oh, I believe in Jesus. So it's hard to converse with somebody that's just, really truly following Jesus and doesn't put him on the same pedestal as all these other things. So they didn't really know how to have that conversation, I think.
Yeah.
So when this all happened, I think it brought clarity to a lot of that world that, no, Jesus is the only God.
Yeah.
He is the only one that you need to connect with God.
So do you remember the conversation when you had with Mom and Dad when you got saved? Do you remember that moment, or was it like a breath of fresh air? They're like, thank the Lord.
Absolutely. They're like, come home. They're like, you've been traveling for 10 years. Come home now. And sure enough, like about, a month being there, I was very homesick. It was like the Lord was definitely calling me home.
Where is home for you?
It's Madison County.
Okay, just north of us. Yeah. Okay, good. No, that's a great story. I didn't, again, just met you the other night, met you and Nick, and of course Nick was supposed to be here too, but he is vehemently sick, and so we're praying that he has a strong, speedy recovery.
Yes.
You guys, when you came in, you spoke, because you had a third young lady with you, Darshini.
Yes.
Okay, yep. I'm always impressed when I see young people, and young people now qualifies anybody younger than me, when I see young people that are willing to get involved in, whether it be politically, whether it be for a conservative movement, like you said, the turning point with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that has really stirred the soul of a lot of young people, right?
Yeah.
It really brought a lot of young people, not just concerned for that day, they wanted to get involved and make a movement, right? So there's momentum that created from that moment. So how do you see this taking place now as you come back here, and how long have you been back now?
So I moved back for a couple of months, and then the Lord started pulling on my heart to go to Africa for DTS, which is Discipleship Training School.
So you did a missionary trip?
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was in Madagascar for 3 months.
Tell us about that.
So, well, that was very interesting. I definitely know that God is doing something because, before I was like, okay, God, I'm abandoned for you. I'll do whatever you want. I came back here to Georgia with my family, living at home, and started working for my family's business that's in Clayton, Soul Place. It was a Western store making hats. And at the time, I just kept hearing Africa, Africa. Someone asked me if I was going on a mission trip. Then my grandma, her and I make leather goods, and we both love doing leather. So we ended up starting a nonprofit, and all the goods would go towards mission work. And then I just felt called to go myself, and I found this organization called YWAM, Youth with a Mission, and they do a DTS, which is typically 6 months long. So you do a in-lecture phase for 3 months, and then you do an outreach phase for 3 months. And I just decided that I found God on an island, or he found me. And I said, okay, well, if it's Africa, then I would like to see what Madagascar is about, because it's an island off of the East Coast. And island, but it's huge. So anyways, I ended up going, and it's the poorest country in the world. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, their second language is French. Their first language is Malagasy. I get there. This is the first year they're doing an international school. And so I am the only American in the school program out of 20 students.
So you have no way to communicate.
So there, it was very challenging.
Yeah.
I will say for 3 months, I spoke like this. And I had a lot of limitations to speaking. And, you know, it was they say DTS also stands for death to self. Because, you die to yourself when you are there. And
yeah, because you're being completely immersed in the culture and all the creature comforts of home are way bye-bye.
Yeah, and I didn't read up on missionary life at all. I spoke to maybe a few people about it, but no one really, was able to give me insight. I come from a completely different world in Colorado and Hawaii. And I get there, and there is no American anything. So I am just like, let me see if I can find a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I sure do miss that Big Mac.
Something like that. And I found comfort in chocolate. They had a chocolate bar.
They had good chocolate?
Just one brand.
Yeah.
The others I could not. But, you know, it's a very interesting place because it is corrupted. Their president there, he is on a power trip, and it's a dictator situation. Yeah. They have a president who cuts off the power whenever he wants to. Sometimes multiple times a day. Sometimes the power would be gone. It would be off for multiple days. We wouldn't have power, so you wouldn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you'd shower in the dark. You'd have to use the bathroom in the dark. You'd hope your phone would be charged up, hopefully here and there. And the water situation, there's not really, if you have a washing machine, you're rich in Madagascar.
That's a luxury.
It's a luxury. Yeah.
Wow. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Macy Rutledge, young lady sharing with us her testimony, her journey. I find it fascinating, anytime I know somebody that goes on a missionary trip, because it's no two experiences are the same. And I've had friends that I grew up with that were part of the YWAM organization, and they went to various places. When you get there to Madagascar, do you find that the people that you're there to help, are they receptive to you? Is you got the language barrier? How are you dealing with all that part?
Yeah, so they did have a translator. So that was awesome. It's really hard to connect with people when you don't speak the same language.
Well, what is the mission when you're there? Is it just to help people? Are you ministering to them? Are you helping them with ailments? Is it helping them with setting up shop? Building a house? What are you doing when you're actually there?
So for us, it was a school, and it was learning how to be in missions. So we did. We actually had teachers from all over the world come in and teach us how to be a missionary. And it was really just like, what did Jesus do? And the scripture that backed that. And so we were in school, we would wake up at 5 a.m. and read our Bibles, just get full of the Word. Okay. And then our outreaches were going to orphanages. We would, the outreach phase was, we were preparing for that more than anything. But I didn't know, I guess most people do it backwards. You usually go to school somewhere like America, and then you do the outreach in Madagascar. So for me, it was very interesting.
So you're kind of cutting your teeth there.
Yes.
Wow.
So when I was there, we were studying, and then we were going out into the streets, because a lot of people were just in the streets, living in the streets. And you would go out, and when you would pray with one person, it would bring just massive, huge crowds of people asking for prayer. They
really
wanted prayer.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a visual. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're going to take a quick break, come back, continue our conversation with Macy Rutledge. Don't go anywhere.
Is technology giving you a tough time at your home or business? Don't worry, Big Mountain Computers is here to help. We're your local tech experts, now open in Madison. Our white glove service ensures personalized solutions for all your IT needs. Hardware fixes, remote support, private lessons, and more. Visit us at Madison Plaza across from Ingalls, or call 706-343-4184 to schedule your consultation. That's 706-343-4184. Big Mountain Computers, turning your mountains into molehills. bills.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
Double D Plumbing is a local, owned, licensed, and insured plumbing company in Loganville. You can reach Double D Plumbing at 770-466-8370. They have the ability to take on any plumbing job regardless of size or difficulty with experience in all phases of plumbing, including commercial and residential, tankless heaters, sewer cameras, and drain cleaning. Call Craig Shepard at 770-466-8370 or visit them on the web at ddplumbinggeorgia.com. You're going to like the way they flow.
Rutledge sharing with us her journey, her testimony, becoming a missionary, going over serving time in Madagascar. So, Macy, what then? What was it? A successful mission? Would you say? Did you learn a lot? Do you feel like you reached people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think more than anything, I was able to be like really cleared out myself to be able to reach more people when I got back here.
It's kind of a two-way mission trip. It may be a healing process for you, and then being able to reach people.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We saw the move of God in Madagascar, and then I got to see the move when we get to that point, like what brought me back here. And what took place in Madagascar once I left was incredible. But when I was there, I got sick about 4 times. I had malaria a couple times.
Wow.
And yeah, it was.
Did you get the full missionary experience? Meaning, were you eating the food of the people there? Was that culture shock for you?
Yes. I was eating rice, a bowl of rice, and it's very poor there. They make maybe $2 a day.
Yeah.
So maybe around $200-300 a year. And what we ate was you'd have rice in the morning, rice for lunch, rice for dinner, and hopefully like an egg with the rice, maybe like a loaf of bread, like a real light loaf of bread.
That was a gourmet meal.
That was a gourmet meal.
I've had friends when I was a kid that were big missionaries, and they would joke and they'd tell me that when you first start off as a missionary and you get your bowl of rice and you see a worm in it, you turn it away. And then the next phase is you get your bowl of rice and you pick the worms out. Then the third phase is you get the bowl of rice and you're looking for the worms because you need the protein. So it's like you're just saying, this is part of the meal.
Yep,
and we laugh at that, but that's we don't realize how good we have it here in the United States until you spend time overseas.
Absolutely.
So eye opener.
Yes, it was very much that. Yeah. I was like, I honestly don't say this, to be egotistical whatsoever, but I do not know many people who would ever do that in their life, as Americans, because it was very difficult.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 3 months.
That's a big commitment. It's one thing to go for a week. It's another thing 3 months, because that's you are fully immersed in everything that's going on at that point.
Yeah.
So when you came back to the United States, did you come back to Madison County, or where did you land here when you came home?
Yeah, I came back to Madison County. So after my 4th time being sick, I was like, I think God is calling me home. I really feel like this is it. I was supposed to be there till December, but I just couldn't allow for my health, for the sake of my health, to continue getting sick. And I just was like, God, okay, I couldn't make the 6 months. I felt like, a part of me was kind of, fighting with that also. So because I wanted to commit to that time, but I knew that God was like, no, you commit to me, and I brought you here, and now I'm taking you home. It's time to go home. I said, okay. So I get here, I land in Madison County. I don't know what's next. I was supposed to be there till December. Sure. I just know I need to heal and make sure that I'm healthy and to be able to continue to do his work wherever he takes me next. So I get home. The next day, I'm like, okay, it's Athens. He's like, I need you in Athens. So I just go to downtown College Square, and I set up a table for prayer, and I start praying, and I walk around Athens. And I'm like, okay, Lord, like, whatever you want to do here, give me your heart for this place, because I have a very hard time being here. I didn't know what culture shock was, so I'm also learning that. So I'm walking the streets and seeing all these businesses and people walking around just kind of oblivious is what it felt for me. Like, it was very weird. It's hard to describe. I just got back in my car around lunch and started crying, just at how, we have it so good here. It's so convenient, but how lost we have gotten as well. And so that was what I was kind of fighting with. I get home and and my dad's at home and he's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Are you okay?" He sees I'm like really upset and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just, my heart is, I think it's just broken for the people in Athens, and I'm just weeping. We go inside, we turn the TV on. I was going to lay down for a few, and then I see on my phone that Charlie Kirk had been shot. And I run to find my dad. I'm like, "Did you see this? What's going on?" And in real time, we're watching on TV this going on. So we see that they pronounce him dead. And I lost it because at the time, over the last year of me also growing in my relationship with the Lord, He led me to Charlie, back to Charlie, because I feel like I grew up with him, watching
such an
him.
impact that he had on everybody, but young people especially.
Yeah. And that was earth shattering for so many. I'd never seen my dad weep like that before either. I've never seen my dad cry the way that we all. It really shocked us to our core. And then I eventually got involved. I was like, what do you want, God? What are we going to do with this? And there was a private vigil that was set up at UGA from the Turning Point chapter there. And I reached out to them and I was like, I think that you need to do a public vigil. Like, there are people that want to attend this with you all. Yep. And they were like, please organize it. Let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I ended up organizing the vigil for Charlie Kirk at UGA. And that's how all of that happened. And we had over 1,000 people attend.
Wow.
And it was so beautiful. And it was just everyone from all walks of life came together at the same place that Charlie spoke at UGA and at the Tate Plaza. And we worship God, we are praying, and we're hearing from different speakers that knew him, and also from students who heard him talk. So that's how that kind of got plugged in with UGA and Tate Plaza and Turning Point. And I had no idea that's where God was going to take me or lead me.
Just incredible journey. Just incredible.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show, visiting with Macy Rutledge. Macy, tell us about the 5K that's coming up, because I know this is really kind of when you gave your speech the other day at the Clark County GOP. I didn't know this is something that was in motion, that it was existing. I think our listeners are going to love to know that this is out there, that especially if they can participate in this. So what was how did you get involved in this, and tell us about the event?
Sure. So after I come out of my culture shock and my depression after all of that, I started to wake up a little bit in January, and I see that on the news, Trump actually captured the Venezuelan president. And my heart immediately was like, oh, my goodness, the Lake and Riley family probably feels some justice in this because her murderer is from Venezuela.
Yep.
So I'm looking for a memorial service that might be coming up, and I don't see anything. I reach out to the Lake and Hope Foundation, and they're like, let's organize a memorial 5K. This is a God thing. Let's go. And I said, all right, I'm on board. So now here we are.
Is this the first one that's coming up? Is this the first 5K that they've done, a first event like this?
Yes.
Wow.
First one. And she's a huge runner, So we're like, let's do a memorial 5K in honor of her, and then follow it up with a service. So it's going to be on the 21st, so a week from this Saturday. Okay. And we're going to have, it's going to start at the Tate student deck. So if you want to join for the 5K, it's a walk and a run, so you don't have to
run the whole 5K?
Right.
That's music to my ears. Do people need to register for this, or do they just show up and participate?
So for the 5K side, you will need to register, especially if you want a T-shirt.
Okay. Is there a website they go to, or Facebook page?
Yeah, so our Facebook page, Run for Your Life 2026. Our Instagram handle is also Run for Your Life 2026.
Okay.
And that's going to be the best way to find us, and there will be a link there. and also my Instagram is Macy Elizabeth Rutledge. You can find it in that. In my
They can
link
follow
in the
you
bio.
directly.
Yes.
Yep. And so the 5K, it starts at the Mace. Walk us through this again. The dates, the time it starts, where it's going to launch from, and just kind of walk us through this there. And then the conclusion. Is there any events after the 5K that people need to be aware of?
Yes. So the race is going to start at 8 a.m. Be there before 8 a.m.
Got to find a place to park.
Yes. And then after that, following that, around 10 a.m., we're going to start the memorial service.
Okay.
And that will have, we'll have multiple speakers there, so you'll hear from the family.
So the race will take place first,
Mhm.
and then the memorial service after.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. And it's going to be at the Tate Plaza. So where Charlie Kirk spoke to, where we had the visual.
Yep.
So you'll find it there. And you'll hear from the family, probably Lauren, her sister. She's a UGA student. And we've been working on this together. And then we'll also, I really wanted to bring Mike Collins into this because he actually is the author of the Lake and
Yep.
Riley Act.
Yep.
So we're going to probably do an interview with him. Then we're going to also have a message on why it's called Run for Your Life, because we're getting a lot of attention on that.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be followed up with worship and prayer, and then we'll send you guys out.
I'm just beyond impressed, for you to love and hearing your journey, everything that you've done, and then to come home not knowing where you're going to land next, and then to be able to land on this and participate and help organize it. What a great event. And so I kudos to you, your team, everyone that's helping with this. And I hope it's a smashing success. I don't know if you have any anticipation of how many runners might be participating in this yet.
So right now we have over 250 people signed up for the race.
Great. Well, we hopefully can add to that number. One more time, give us the Facebook or the Instagram handle for them to find this. Run for Your Life.
Run for Your Life 2026.
2026. If you want to find out more, starts 8 a.m. down in Athens. Get there early. Can they park at the Tate Student Parking? Is that deck available for them at this day?
It is,
okay,
yes.
That's easy then.
Yes.
Fantastic. Park right there. You get the plaza right next door, and then the race begins from there. And then after the race, you're going to have a memorial service, and you'll have speakers, all kinds of events. So
Yeah, water, refreshment, coffee.
that is just fantastic.
I
Yeah.
love that.
What a great event, right, Chastity? Isn't that
Yes.
impressive?
It's so impressive.
See, I told you why I invited her in.
She's very impressive.
Well,
you guys are so
she
sweet.
is leading with God's heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And his love.
Well, you're in
Thank
command
you,
of everything. You've got a good command of everything, of your message, your story, and then what you're involved in. So anything else that we can help do to promote this, you let us know and we'll do it. And please tell Nick we hope he gets to feeling better. And we'll still save a slot for him if he wants to get on and promote. It's
Yes.
the YAFF is who he's associated with?
YAF, Y-A-F, Young Americans for Freedom.
YAF, okay.
Yes, so we're collaborating with them on this. He's done an incredible job. He's been the inside of UGA because you guys know they have a lot of red tape.
Yep.
And I'm very grateful that God just brought all of this together so that we could have a good team behind all of this
Well,
too.
both of them are very impressive, and so we'll be sure to have him on too. So tell him when he gets, when he's done barfing, we'll have him on the show. A lot of fun, Macy. Thanks for having it. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you for having
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Chastity, big show tomorrow. What do we got?
So, yes.
It's a huge show.
Yeah. It's
biggest show of the year.
The biggest show, because we're going to have our very own First Lady of WMOQ.
My beautiful wife is
That's
coming
right,
in.
Miss Liliana
And
McMain
we're
will
talk-
be in the studio.
to share our story of how we met.
I love that.
It's gonna be a fun story.
And
yeah.
then we'll
I'm
have-
sharing my version though. My version's better than her version.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
I am too. It's gonna be a blast.
Yes.
A lot of fun.
And then we have the Walton County Humane Society talking pet adoptions.
See, that's
So
perfect.
that's great.
Yeah, Max is getting old, so I got to start planning for the next Max. So,
Oh.
yeah.
And then Chris Carr.
Chris Carr running
Yes.
for governor. That's a stacked show tomorrow.
Yep.
Awesome. All
Great
right.
show.
We'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe until then, folks.